Well, joining us now here on the program, we are learning more about Diestel Family Ranch in California, and they are announcing they have become the first turkey producer to achieve Regenified certification. We're going to learn more about that and learn more about the ranch as a whole and some of the different practices that they have on their operation. Joining us for that conversation, she is a fourth generation farmer at Diestel Family Ranch. Heidi Diestel is with us here today on the program. And Heidi, thank you so much for joining us and making the time. We appreciate it. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Well, just for starters, give us a little background on Diestel Family Ranch if you can.
Totally. Yeah, we are. I'm fourth generation turkey farmer, and we are celebrating 75 years of business this year. So since 1949, the family, has always raised natural and then, certified organic products. We're kind of more on that natural wavelength, if you will, of how to do things. And it's really a vertical integration. So we're raising the birds, milling their feed, processing, and then, direct marketing straight to the consumer or grocery store.
Well, it's exciting news that the ranch is the first turkey producer to achieve Regenified certification. Tell us more about the certification and what it means to you and your operation.
Yeah, I mean, well, first off, I'm so proud of my brother and the entire team for making this a reality. It means a lot. It's really exciting. Regenified certification is one of the first to be recognized also by the USDA. And so, it's a really big deal because we're making steps to really solidify what it means to be regenerative. And what those farming practices look like. And we hope that we're really setting the stage in poultry for, many more to follow. It's really a paradigm shift in the way that we are looking at, our influence in agriculture, in the greater landscape of agriculture, and looking at how we can really not just have a really phenomenal environment for the birds and have a really good, tasty product at the end of the day, but also leave the earth, right, a little bit better than how we started.
Well, let's walk through some of the different practices that you guys have in place on the ranch. And I know there's quite a few of them: soil health, stewardship practices, things like that, that we hear a lot about with row crop agriculture. But, soil health, I don't hear a lot about that in turkey production. So, I mean, talk about some of these things and share some of what you guys do for us.
Yeah, totally. So, I mean, it really starts with the soil, right? And the soil health and the structure. So there's a few things. I mean, the birds have outdoor access. We still use ruminants in our programming. So we still have, goats and sheep and cattle that will rotate and graze through the paddocks along with the birds. And then, we're still looking at the diversification of, plants and ground cover, keeping that ground cover on our property throughout the growing cycle and during the rest periods. That's something that's very important. But as you kind of mentioned, and something I think that's very exciting, especially for poultry, is with the regenerative program and the way that Diestel views the regenerative program, and something we hope to influence others to think about, is we feel that poultry really needs to acknowledge where the feed is coming from. So, out where you are, right, and all the row crop farming, the corn and the soy, we have a huge opportunity in poultry to impact the way that those commodities are coming to the marketplace. And so for us, that's a whole other additional layer in which we are looking and finding farmers in the Midwest to source, the corn and soy from that are grown or certified Regenified, and feeding that to the birds as well. So we almost get to double, our square footage.
Well, and talk about why should it be important for other poultry farmers across the country to prioritize their soil health and maybe follow the lead of what you guys are doing there on your operation?
Oh my gosh. I mean, how much time do we have? Yeah, I will say that, the rate of desertification, right, across continents. I mean, this problem is so much larger than what probably you and I even understand. And we're super close to it because we see this every day. But, to date, we've made a lot of great strides in agriculture, but the modern system, it's, values over, volume over values, right? I mean, it's super high quantity of product that is, and yield that is required off of the land, but the value, right? That component of how are we leaving the land? What does that look like for future generations? What is the nutrient density of the food that we are producing today? And that's diminishing at a really big rate. So, we are just, agriculture is so powerful, right? I mean, one of my favorite jokes from when I was in undergraduate was, my undergraduate degree was, where would we be without agriculture, right? Like naked and hungry, basically. So, for us in ag, we have this huge opportunity to really shift with what the needs of our environment is, what the needs of the land is, be better land stewards, really care about the future of farming. We know that we have fewer and fewer people as a population invested in farming, knowing how to farm, right? The farmers are dwindling and dwindling. The few we have left, we really need to kind of gather together, almost like our last hurrah here, and shift the market and produce something that isn't just higher nutrient density, that isn't getting off, the hamster wheel of chemical after chemical application, but also, looking at the soil for the next generation. We really have to address this and do our part to support a healthier environment, not encouraging a dust bowl, which is basically where we're headed.
Yeah, great thoughts, great insights. Where can people learn more about Diestel Family Ranch? And also, final thoughts from you, if you have anything you want to share or reiterate with folks today, Heidi.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. I mean, I would just say, I think one of the things we really want to just encourage people is, have you considered where your food comes from? Have you considered the farmer behind your food, whether that's from produce or fruit or, your meat? Just really getting closer to knowing where your food comes from. I think that's a huge component of this. And then understanding, regenerative dynamics. Take a look at Regenified Certified's website. You can learn so much about the principles of regenerative, which, we didn't even scratch the surface on. You can learn more about Diestel and follow along in our journey, of course, at Instagram or, our website, diestelfamilyranch.com. We really encourage you to just, literally dig in and find more about where your food comes from. It's only with the viewer's support that we can continue to do what we do, and really push the next generation of farming to be better than it has ever been.
Well, and I think to summarize this as well, just to reiterate this point home, you mentioned it, find out where your food comes from and, all the work that's being done in regenerative agriculture right now and stewardship and soil health, and in particular throughout agriculture. It's just so important, Heidi, because I think, I like to say this at the end of the day, our food doesn't come from the grocery store. There's there's hardworking people across this country who are helping to produce the food that we consume. Right, Heidi?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And let's think about what our food can do for us. Right. And that only happens when we're working with farmers, really the people who are doing the work every day. Right. We need to think about that nutrient density. There's a reason why we're more obese and, more sick in this country than we ever have been, right? Let's start with really good quality food. And regenerative is a huge step in the right direction for not just soil health and, the kind of environmental factors that could provide us with higher nutrient density food, but just, a real shining light for the future of farming and something we need to protect in this country. And, we want to know, you want to know where your food comes from.
Absolutely. Well, again, folks can check out the Regenified website for more on the Regenified program, regenified.com. And you can follow Diestel Family Ranch on all the social media, Facebook, Instagram, et cetera, et cetera. And with that, we appreciate the conversation. Heidi Diestel with Diestel Family Ranch. Thanks for joining us here on the program, and congratulations on that Regenified certification. And we'll look forward to having a conversation with you again in the future. Thanks so much.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Make sure to subscribe to the Market Talk YouTube channel. You can watch our latest interviews with top market analysts in the country, find bonus content, and much more. It's easy. Just go to youtube.com/@MarketTalkAg and hit the subscribe button. Or you can search for Market Talk Ag on YouTube.